when you want to build a product, you need to go to people who are savages. You'll say, hey bro, this stinks. Okay? Not just say, hey bro, you did a good job. But I'm not going to use it. I have no use for it. But you did a good job. Right? It doesn't. I mean,
imagine you had green card here.
Yeah.
Would you still go back to India?
Yeah. Rather be free in India than tied up in the US, that's all I'm saying. And I can tell you that it's incredibly difficult to convince anyone to do
give
anything.
their money to you.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome. I'm Shreyas and you're watching Curious Cabaret. In this episode, I talk to my friend Sudarshan, who is a brilliant entrepreneur. We talk about his journey of starting his own company in FinTech industry. We talk about how to take a product from ideation stage to execution stage. What are some of the real struggles that you go through in this process? We also talk about how you can acquire paying customers. Sudarshan also came to the US on L1 visa, so we try and compare the journey of an L1 visa holder with that of an F1 visa holder. Overall, if you are someone who's interested in fintech or building your own company or even coming to US on L1 visa, I think you'll really enjoy this episode. Thank you so much for watching the first episode and giving us all the love for the first episode. We really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Thank you.
The first question that I want to ask you is, take us through your 4 years of undergrad. You studied in NIT K, right?
NIT Trichy. I passed out of high school in 2015 and got into NIT Trichy, right? And it was triple E. There was no, I didn't have any passion. I didn't choose triple E. I just wanted the best department. I in my mind, I had, this was CSC, this was the second is EC, then the third is triple E, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, let's join and see.
Right.
And the first year I started writing code, right? I started working on app dev.
Mm-hmm.
And I started, and this was Windows app dev. That was the time when Windows
wow,
was there.
Yeah.
And Windows app, you write in Visual Studio Code,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm sorry, not Visual Studio Code, just Visual Studio, right? On a Microsoft laptop, right? And the interesting thing here is, the first year of my college, I had a laptop, right? And it was a Tamil Nadu government laptop that my sister got because she was studying in a government school.
Oh,
Okay. And that small laptop, it was given by Selvi J. Jayalalitha, who was the chief minister then, who's called Amma, is where I started my app dev.
Oh, wow.
And the crazy thing is, in that small 2 GB RAM laptop, I used to run two instances of Visual Studio. And the first thing I made was a matrix multiplication app. Just you give 2 matrices and it multiplies it.
Yeah.
Right? I was very interested in it. Like, I kept talking about it everywhere, right? Classes and everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And this idea formed that, okay, this guy writes code. And I liked it. I liked the idea.
Nice.
So that was the first, that's where I started writing code.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then I thought, okay, let's go study electrical engineering, maybe we'll get it.
Yeah.
And then I came out of my second year, and third year is when the internship season starts, right?
Yeah.
And then I came and thought, okay, let me go start reading electronics. The first week I opened my electronics book. I say, okay, I can't do this anymore. I close it, and then I start doing this Robert Sedgwick data structures course on Coursera, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I started practicing all this code stuff and everything.
Awesome.
Somehow got an internship at Morgan Stanley in the start of my third year, right? And fourth year, I got into this company called Sprinkler, which is where I am till now.
Yeah.
Right. And it was a crazy ride actually. It was crazy, and I got my starting GPA was, I think the first time was 7.91, 7.92. It jumped to 9.08 or something, and then 9. And then I got an internship, so it went to 8.6. It kept going. In the end, it went up 9. So it's literally a roller coaster of my GPA. Right? And I think that kind of showed me that there's one thing that is peculiar about me, is that if it's interesting, I'm doing it. If it's not, I can't fake it at all. I just can't do it. It's so much that there are some subjects, if I get any more than C, that's a shame for me. It's a boring subject. I'm not allowed to get more than C. And if I get more than that means I've been compromised on my, interest integrity. Right? So that was one thing I learned about in college. You look at this pattern and you think, okay, some people don't go below the grade B. Those are people who can get into, who you ask them to do something, they're going to get it done, whether it's interesting or not.
Right.
They might not be the best one to do it, but they're going to get something done.
Correct.
Right? So
for you, that wasn't interesting. You like doing things that you
So I can't do if it is not interesting at all. If I do it, it's going to be really long and people are going, the stakeholders are going to get angry. That is something I've seen. I mean, I have worked to get better towards it, but I think that, you get a pattern of yourself, okay, and then you try to reinforce it. That's a better strategy than, okay, it seems like I can do this better, but I'm not doing this better. Let me focus on the thing I don't do this better. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I think when some of your horses go fast, bet on them more and more and more, right? You don't have to bet on the laggard to get it close to. It's not going to happen, right?
Exactly.
Why do you want to be an average A guy if you can be an amazing B guy? Even if you're beast, if your B skill is much better than me.
Yeah.
Right. I've even told this to people. This is what they should do. So I got out of college. I think in 2019 joined the Sprinkler. Joined in the ML team, which was AI team, right?
Yeah.
Which was, I think in 2019 it was still the pre-ChatGPT era, right? The best models were BERT and simple models. I mean, not simple, they were crazy back then, now they're simple.
Yeah.
Right? And it was BERT and the work was really good. We had a very good team, I think. Right? And became a senior product engineer and lead, the title changed.
Yeah.
Right? And then came on now an associate director.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I think I came to the US last year. In 2022, right, and in an L1B visa. So just a quick info. L1B is I think it's a specialized knowledge. So the company is saying that this guy is really important for us to run our US operations.
Yeah.
He's not taking the job of a US employee. Right? He is really needed to run. That's how it is.
Right.
And there are two things: L1B and L1A. Right. So L1B is you are a reportee. I mean, you don't have reportees, and L1A is you are a manager. Right?
Yeah, so I was kind of curious about this. I know you manage people back home, right?
Yeah.
There are people working for you.
Yeah. So,
and you still got L1.
Yeah. So
B.
when they applied for it, I didn't have any reportees, and I think the rules say that you need to have a US employee reporting to you, and all
Got
the
it.
reportees I have are from India, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's why it didn't work out. And L1B, there's one issue in L1. I mean, L1B is kind of, it's like H1B, right? Because in terms of green card wait time, but it's worse in the sense that you can't switch companies. If you want to switch a company, you got to move back to India, right? L1A is good because you can get your green card soon. It's what I hear, right? But these immigration laws, they are too difficult for me to understand and comprehend, and
It always gets complicated.
Yeah.
One thing I also want to kind of steer back this conversation into the company that you're working on, not Sprinkler, your own product that you have built. That is super interesting, right? What got you into it, and explain us what the product is. I know I have a brief understanding of what it does, but I want others to know as well.
So I think I got into investing in the market in 2021 of Jan, in the Indian market, stock market.
Pandemic.
Just the pandemic.
Everyone.
Everyone started. Kept going up, right? I think it was the peak bull time that I was starting on it. So I thought I need a way to summarize all my stocks for the last week. So you have a bunch of 5-6 stocks or 10 stocks or whatever it is, right? And what I wanted was, I don't want to check the price every day. It's too much work for me, and I don't care. When you're a long-term investor, that's the moniker, right? When you're a long-term investor, you don't care about the daily price movements at all, right? So I wanted a summary to, I wanted to, get a mail every end of every week saying, hey, look at the stock that you have, ITC, right? It had it back in 2020 it was still at 200, so it went up, I think, 5 rupees or whatever percentage. It went to 205, right? And these are some news that happened around it, right? And I was okay with an automated one. I didn't want some editor to sit and write this. So the problem is when these analysts write, right, there's a lot of bias that comes out also, right? There's no automation as such. I mean, they bring their own biases, right? And
those are subjective views, and yes, they do have their own favorites which they would want.
And there's a lot of, when you want to start something like that, you need to get a lot of approvals in India, right?
Absolutely.
The SEBI is much stronger than the SEC of the US, right? And maybe to to a fault, but that's the truth, right? You have to work with the laws of India. So I don't really hire a human to write. And the thing is, you don't scale. You can pick 5-6 companies per week. How can you pick all the companies, right?
Yes.
And the fact is, not a lot happens every week to companies, right? If someone says there's something happening every week to a company, you should not invest in that company. There's some problem going on,
Of course.
right? So I wanted to just automate that. Send me an email every week, end of every week, right? And the funny thing is, I don't know how I got to this idea of just sending a newsletter email. So I'll explain the product now, right? You go, so it's called Vikhed, right? Vikhed.in. You go to the website, right? And you can go and subscribe to a bunch. So you pick stocks like ITC.
Before you, sorry to cut you off, before you explain the product, why the name Vikhed?
Okay, so I thought this is going to be, a smart alerting system in a sense that it can alert you when, there's something happens to your stock or something like that, right? And I went and searched the word alert. Even alert.coms are obviously going to be taken, right? So I searched for alert in Sanskrit or alert in Hindi, right?
Yeah.
And this word Vikhed came up.
Oh, it's a Sanskrit word.
Yeah, it's what I believe. I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, according to an
True,
unnamed website, it's probably
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, people think it's Vikhed or Wikihead or whatever. It's just Vikhed. The second K in Devanagari, Vikhed.
Yeah.
Right. So Vikhed.in.
I'll tell you what I thought. I had an interesting theory about this. I thought that maybe your nickname is Wiki. And this is Wiki plus education, so Vikhed.
My God. Maybe I should get that nickname right now. This is very good. That's a very nice way to put it.
Vikhed is a Sanskrit word for alert, and that's how you.
So that's my original idea was, let's just make a good alerting system, right? And the fact is, there's not a lot of that already in the market. That could indicate that there are no people who want it. That could be true.
Possible.
Right? You won't know until you make it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Product market fit first. The product comes. If you are going to start thinking of product market before the product, you're just procrastinating, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, let's just start something. And the idea was to collect all this information from the National Stock Exchange website and some of the RSS feeds from some publications, right? Money Control, whatnot, and collate them together, right? Run a, just every week, every Saturday, send a message, right? Send a mail to the.
Alright, so if I understand correctly, you have a service that is productionalized. It is in AWS or GCP. Okay, in your case, AWS, right?
Yeah.
So you have deployed that server or serverless function, which essentially grabs the data periodically every week and then collates them into a newsletter.
Yeah.
Now, how did you decide what stocks to look at and what not to look at? And when you say just gets the data, what are we getting? Is it just the stock price? Is it the variation that happened in a week? Or is it something else overall?
Yeah. So the collection happens across all. So one is, what are the insider trades with the company, right? Company insiders sell and buy stock really frequently, right? And that is required to be filed with the Securities Exchange Board, right? And the NSE website lists it. So that is one information, and I think it's some kind of common knowledge in the market arena that your insider trades paint a picture, right? Not entirely, but they actually signal that something is happening, either selling or buying. So that is one thing. Other thing is the financial results that comes in Jan, March, the end of March, end of December, right?
Yeah.
So that is one thing we sent out. I also had we use this indicator called RSI, relative strength indicator, to say if this stock is oversold or overbought. So you can say that. Okay, I think it's less than 30. It's oversold. There's a number you get getting the average of 14 days, I think. The exact formula can be checked on it. Right. And when the number is below 30, it means that the market has oversold the stock. And if it's above 70, it has overbought it. So these are two flags, isn't right? And one thing more we have not added, but I think we can add, is a shareholder pattern.
Okay.
Right. This is so. it's still in search of the best market, right? But I do have a bunch of subscribers. It's just starting. It's just me, no one else, right? And we're still starting off in that sense, right? But I think there is maybe there is more to be worked on the product, obviously, right? But I think there is some appetite for investment products, because if you see, there's no premium product in India. There's no Bloomberg terminal for India, right? Even when you go to any of these money control or whatever, all I can remember is the chaos that surrounds on the web, right? Any of these, there's just 100 things happening on the page, right? It's not clear. And even when you get a pro version or whatever, they have insight ads, right? They're the ads from their own site, right? It's not really ads. They just put a banner there, and it's very distracting. It's not very clean, right? And that was one more impetus to start something clean. And I think there's a good appetite for making a web page that is so simple and just gives some information, right? I don't think any of these websites, none of them have a clean UI. It's very difficult to get through all the information. There are a lot of breaks in between for no reason, right? It's just always distracting all the time. So I think that was also one reason why I did this. So there is a lot of data that I collect from this website, not from people, from website, and right? So I have like a data stash where I can build a bunch of other products. So one other thing is, every month I send the top insider buying of the previous month. So it's September now, right? I sent out a mail on September 1st saying, hey, in the month of August, these guys had the best top insider buying, right? And
so on that, explain us what insider really means for those who don't know, and what insider buying is, and also why is that information important.
So insiders are CEO, the CEO of the company, promoters of the company,
all the executives,
executives, CFO, VPs, right? All these are the insiders of the company, people who are inside the company, who know more about the company than you and I can ever would ever, right? Exactly. There's no way we would ever, right? And when these insiders buy, probably means the company is doing something right? And when the insiders sell a lot, it might not always mean that, but over a long period of time, I've seen on simulation, backtesting, that if a company has been selling stock for 6 months, there's definitely some problem, right? And across people, if those same guy sells, maybe there's something else.
Maybe they
maybe they need money at that point. But if a lot of selling happens, there is some issue there. Right? So the insiders are people who know more about the company than you. There are people inside here, and if you work for PayPal, you are technically an insider. Maybe you're not market moving insider because you're still an engineer. Maybe your VP or someone is a very high level insider, but these are insiders, right? And when I did a back testing of this idea of take a month, take the top insider buying, and let's see how the market values that for the next month, right? And when I ran the back testing for, I think, from 2016, we got over those 5 years, I think the net returns were 250%, if I'm right. There's an Excel sheet that I can share.
The back testing, what you're testing is, at the beginning of the month, what insider trades are made, and at the end of it, so say for example, a company X, an insider bought a lot of shares at the beginning of the month. So in that back testing, you're checking, what if I also buy at that time and sell it a month from then?
So,
and what is the value?
So take an example, April 1 to April 30th, right? This company called Sonata Software, you see that the CEO has bought a lot of stock, the CFO has bought a lot of stock, some VPs have bought a lot of stock. So this is for April, and it shows up in the screener that of all the companies in the market, Sonata Software is in the top 10 for insiders buying their own stock.
Does it also tell how many insiders are buying? How much?
The newsletter doesn't, but it's something we can add. But we do share the number of shares and the amount bought. So, and the number generally is a few thousand crores or a few hundred crores. That's how the number is. And so April 1 to April 30, you see the Sonata Software has a lot of buying. You can't buy at the same one because insider trades are reported a bit later, right? When they file the trades today, they probably bought it 10 days ago. and they mention the date when they bought it as well.
Got it.
So what we do is we check. I mean, within that, if the buying date is within the 1 month, you buy it on May 1st and hold it till May 31st. This is the most basic strategy I've tried.
Got it.
And it's been working good from April of this year. I've had some 30% returns till August, and
wow.
one really good result was for the month of, I think, August, right? So July instead of buying reflects in August.
Yeah.
So July, there's this company called Atul Auto. They are automakers. One interesting fact: when I went to Mexico, I saw a lot of Atul Autos there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think South America has a lot of Mexico and South America has a lot of Atul Autos.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and even Bajaj exports to South America.
Yeah.
So Atul Auto had price spike instead of buying. I bought it on August 1st, sold on August 30th, and it went up 60% in that time.
Wow.
And that month was our best.
It's the best performance.
Yeah, from April to that April to now. So
I think we have to say one thing.
Yeah.
This is not a financial advice.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know why people say that, but I don't want to get into any This is something that you have tried out of your own interest, and you have seen good and bad results.
Yeah.
Profits and losses.
Yeah.
But you're talking about some of the best profits that you saw in last 1 year.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, I want to go back to the strategy itself.
Yeah.
You see that someone has bought it and you buy the stock at the beginning of the month and you hold it for a month.
Yeah.
Why 1 month?
So that just is I just came up with the simplest strategy to do. So I didn't want to do a lot of trades, right?
Yeah.
I want to buy every 5 days or 10 days. That was too much. So I thought, let's just do 1 month and see. So that is the most vanilla thing, that if someone is interested and they're calculating their own risk, and they could do something like, let me not do 1 month, let me hold it on by 1st and sell it on 15th.
Yeah.
If it has not gone up by this %, and if it has gone up, hold it. And you don't even have to sell it on the last day. If you think it's really going good, you can just hold it.
Yeah.
Right? The strategy is not hardwired like that. It's just a good screener to tell you that, hey, this stock might go up, and do your own risk, do your own analysis, but it probably could go up because insiders are buying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is at the end of the day a newsletter which is telling you, hey, this is what we observe.
Yeah.
News is essentially abnormalities, and you are just explaining, stating those abnormalities.
I don't give list of stocks to buy.
Yeah.
And I think the SEBI requires you to be a registered investment advisor, not that.
Yeah.
Right. All I'm saying is the NSE website lists that these are the top stocking. I'm just curating it and giving it.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, and all I'm saying is, when I did this, it worked. Again, people have to do their own analysis all the time,
of course.
right? And you have to put money that you can put, right? You don't start off with a good amount that you'll probably lose. That's definitely not right.
You should, do it at your own risk and know your risk appetite, all that. Yeah.
So do your
due diligence.
Yeah, due diligence.
For sure.
Read up on it, right? That I think is as an actual disclaimer. It comes in my newsletter as well. Yeah.
Another question I have is, there are a bunch of stocks where insider tradings can happen within a window.
Yeah.
Actually, tell me this: how many companies on an average do you have stats around that go through insider trading on a monthly basis?
So the newsletter gives the top 10 of all the all the insider buying, but a good amount of companies have stock insider. I'm not sure about the exact number. I can get you the number.
Yeah.
Right. It's all in a Mongo somewhere, but I think it is a good amount. And
when you say good amount, just give me a ballpark. Is it 100? Is it 50?
You're talking the number of stocks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it could be 100 to 100. The market is a big place, right?
Yeah.
So 100. And if someone's really wants a real-time feed of this, there's a Twitter account that I run. It's x.com/updates_trade, UPDATES_TRADE.
Right.
And you get this real-time alerts.
Nice.
Near real time. It's like 30 minutes interval. And there's also there's also a feed that I run. It's at equitycoach.in, EQUITYKHOJ.in.
Okay.
Equity coach, equity search. That's what I did.
Got it.
So you go there and there's a feed of insider trades in it. You can look into that as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you want more real time than this monthly, I don't think that really helps, right? But if you really want to be there, that is also one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we get a lot of alerts, and it's also I think it's a bit seasonal also, not all the time. There's a lot of loss harvesting people do, things like that. So there are some peaks and troughs there.
Okay.
But I think 100 or 150 is a good amount of. I mean, anything is insider buy, right? 100 shares, 1000 shares. So
fair.
The people buy for good, spend a lot. I mean, the insider buys can the maximum I think I've seen is 1,050 crores. So which is a good amount, right?
Wow.
And these are all big companies, like HCL, some of these companies.
Yeah.
Some companies don't have a lot. ITC doesn't have a lot, right? So, but I think it is until now. I know that Peter Lynch suggests that insider trades could be a good place to start thinking of which one to buy, right? So this is one nice booklet by I think it's an investment company called VD Brown.
Okay.
And they have an investment booklet called What Has Worked for Us in Investing. Right? And they have a bunch of 5-6 strategies, and one of them is insiders. Follow the insider. So you just follow what the insider does. So I think that was one other source for me. My main source was a Reddit post by someone on this was for the US market. I thought, okay, let's do it for India. Right? And it seemed to work well for India. I'm still doing it. This month is going okay. It's not as good as last month. I think beating last month will be Parag Atul 60% will be a bit difficult.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't.
1 month 60%.
Yeah,
that's a
lot of money. Yeah. It's been going good. I have a bunch of subscribers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know.
And these are also paid subscribers, right?
These are so the newsletter. It ran free for I think 1 year now. So I just wanted to know: is it just going and sitting in someone's inbox without using any user? Are people doing it, or is there any interest in it at all?
Exactly.
And I think until now it's just like 10-15 people, right? But I think I'm going to open it up for free trial.
Larger audience now.
For 3 months or whatever, right? I think the people are going to get into the market more in India. So a lot of people ask me, when you're an engineer, you don't know a lot about the market. So when you're an engineer who knows a bit about market, people ask you, right? A lot of people have reached out to me asking, how should I do that?
Yeah.
So I mean, this is a bull case that has been predicted on India for a long time, right? India's going to have a good time now.
Yeah.
Right? I actually run a website called longonindia.in.
Oh, wow.
LNG on India, going long on India. Right. And I wanted to track all the things. I didn't know what to track, so it's just sitting there, but I have the domain and it's up. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what was your idea there?
So the funny thing was, someone had tweeted it saying, how do I go long on India?
Okay.
This was someone from the US, and they wanted to know how do they go long on India. And it just struck me that, okay, I want to make a website on how to tell them how to go long on India. I got the website, I made the website, but I didn't know how to go long on India. I know I'm an Indian and I know I'm going to go back to India, but how does someone from the US go do something like that? Right? The best thing is to buy stock, but again, that also is, I don't think it's it's a straightforward way, but it's not the more high risk, high reward way.
It's not the fun way.
Yeah, it's not the fun way. So I wanted to do it, but again, the priorities changed and I couldn't go back.
Yeah.
But now that I'm going back, maybe I'll go and see.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so in coming back to Vikhed, in that you decided to make your product premium. Meaning people will have to pay a certain amount to get my. So I know that there are 2 newsletters. One is an open newsletter that you send anyone and everyone who is interested, and that entails information such as
the stock price movement. So the fees newsletter is per stock. So when you have 5 stocks in the market and you want to have the information about them, just go and subscribe for them. Sonata Software, ITC, United Spirits, any of the stocks that you have, you just subscribe for them. You got to wait for each one of them in the end of the week, saying, hey, you have the stock, right? And it went up 5%. It was a really good week, right? And they had this results, and this is the news that happened around it. Okay, maybe so that's what it is. So that is the free one. You just go and subscribe to how many ever companies
stocks or companies you are interested in. And the premium one, that's where you give out the insider information, correct?
So the premium one is just, the top 10 companies that we saw with highest insiders, right? And how much did it move the last month? That is just fancy. That's not a really required information. But I had how many shares were purchased and what was the total net buy. And this is net buy. So when you buy and sell, that's not counted.
Yeah.
It's buy minus sell. So that you get a much better idea, right?
Right.
So that it's going good till now. Let's see. Right? Let's see how it goes. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, and I know we discussed this last week or week before that, where we were trying to figure out how you can kind of expand your market.
Yeah.
Right now, like you said, you have 15-20 users who are your premium users, and you did no marketing for this.
There's no marketing.
This was all word of mouth.
Yeah.
And people figure you out through Twitter because you're quite active on Twitter, and that's how they got interested in this.
Yeah.
And then we were discussing how we can expand this, and now you're, I think, thinking about having free trials and things like that,
and make it more easier. So one thing is, the idea is very clear on my mind, and just assume that it's clear on everyone's mind, which is obviously not true. And it's something when you're an engineer, that's what happens, right?
Yeah.
You want everyone to click at the same level. It's just, if you don't talk, you're not getting things done, right? So,
exactly.
So I wanted to make this comic strip to explain this idea. A lot of people have reached out to me saying, I want to do this, how do I do this? And I just give it's on WhatsApp, I just give a reply WhatsApp message, and I assume that's clear enough for them, I say insiders by, they don't know who an insider is, right? Which is, so I wanted to make a clear strip of what information strip of this is what first insiders buy, second we curate the stocks, we send you a newsletter, and then you buy and hold. This is all the whole idea. And I also have a page which lists all my past, how my, if you throw numbers.
What's your track record essentially?
Track record is the same thing, right? So the track record also kind of helps people to, how do you convert people, either by throwing the numbers at them, right? Like 40%, or give them information on how it is. If you write a big blog post, people are not going to read it.
Yeah.
So these are all the learnings that I have. Vikhed is not like, it's just an idea that formed, and it's not like I don't see it becoming the biggest thing in my life. I hope not. I want to do bigger things, right? But it's a definitely good learning. And thing is, either you sitting thinking about doing, or you do something. I'd rather do something than sitting about doing, right?
That's what I wanted to talk about as well with this. Like you said, maybe it might not be the biggest newsletter out there.
Yeah.
That wasn't the intention anyway. The intention was you did it for yourself. You were curious to know, hey, how are insider trading affecting the market? If I follow insiders, will I also make money? No, maybe not. Let's see. And then you back tested it. And while doing this, you figured out, hey, this is something others can also use.
Exactly.
Let me start a newsletter.
Exactly.
And what I want to talk about is the fact that you can think about ideas, but very few people actually take it from that ideation stage to an execution stage. And once you do that, there's a lot of personal learnings that you can go through. You learned AWS. I'm sure you hadn't
I haven't worked on, so I haven't spun up my own EC2 instance.
Exactly.
This is something I had to do. I had to set up my Mongo, I had to increase the disk size because I reached I had to set up some Lambda functions, right? Work a lot with Chrome, obviously. And write a good API, right? Serve it well. So these are the tech side learnings and
that's what if you take like a zoom out view of this, then now we have started thinking about, hey, how do I how do I make my product more user friendly? Okay, let me not assume that my users know what insider trading is. Now we started explaining through comic strips, and then I also remember we discussed about what are the financial implications of this, right? Like you spend $50 every month on server. If I have to break even, how many users do I need, and things like that. So I think there are a lot of learnings that all of us can take from.
Let me tell you a very interesting learning. This was very fun. Okay. So I made this product, right? And I spent some $40 or $50 on server per month. Until now, AWS has covered it. There's a AWS. It was there 2 years ago, and I don't know if it's there now. So if you want to start, if you're starting a company, you just need a domain and go to AWS and I think it's called AWS Activate package, and they give you $1,000 credit.
Okay.
300 in support credit, 700 in EC2, everything. Right?
Nice.
That's how it. Vikhed has been running totally thanks to Jeff Bezos and his company, right? And it's been running well. So, but the funny thing is, it's at $40 now. Okay, and my subscription is 500 per year.
Right.
500 INR per year.
Yeah.
Right, and I have some 12 people. Right. That's
6,000 rupees,
6,000
about
rupees.
$80.
Yeah, around that, right? Now the $80 covers maybe 1.5 months of my server cost.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It does nothing, and
Exactly.
I have to keep it running because I have people who have paid for my product.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm stuck in the stupid place where I charge money out of no reason without hitting a critical mass of people.
Yeah.
Right. So new people are not coming because it's paid.
Yeah.
Right. And I have to keep it up for old people because they have the older subscribers because they have paid money.
Yeah.
Right. And that doesn't even cover 1.5 months. So
Yeah.
there's one good thing learning for me is that pricing is something you have to sit on.
Yeah.
Just don't throw a number, it comes to you, right?
Exactly.
And you get a critical mass to make sure that it makes sense to work on it.
Yeah.
Right? So that's one good learning.
Mhm.
And another good learning is, sometimes you make something and you put it out there and you assume your API is going to go down because people are going to ping your server so much. Nobody cares really, not your.
Yeah.
And with all due respect to all due respect to all friends, right? Even they don't care. And it's just true. Right?
Yeah.
Unless
Why
you
should they?
make something they care, you go and do it entirely for the user.
Yeah.
Right? And unless you converted one user who really wants your product,
Yeah.
you have not hit your, you
Yeah.
don't, you still have to keep working.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that it's incredibly difficult to convince anyone to
To
do
give
anything.
their money to you.
Yeah. And even if you don't, I've tried to tell people, but maybe they do it because they want you to feel good, right? But it's it's incredibly difficult to get feedback out of anyone,
Yeah.
right? We are at a stage or at a place where when you make something, people are going to say, "Oh wow, at least you did something. It's a good job."
Yeah.
Which is good, and I appreciate that. But when you want to build a product, you need to go to people who are savages. You'll say, "Hey bro, this stinks," okay? Not just say, "Hey bro, you did a good job." But I'm not going to use it. I have no use for it. But you did a good job, right? It doesn't. They're all
That's
nice
the
to you,
harsh reality
right?
of things.
But
Yeah.
that's why you need some savages in life. People who can be more
Absolutely.
open to you, right? People who can. So I've tried to get feedback in many ways. I have I have some buttons to just like or unlike, dislike or whatever.
Nice. Huh?
People don't really. I don't think people click it or do a lot there. So that's one thing. It's you want to make something people want, right? You really, really have to make something people want.
Yeah.
You don't make something you want, throw it out there,
And hope that they.
that works if you do 100 or 500 projects, not with. I think people would know this guy called Peter Levels, right? Levels are you on Twitter, @Levels are you, crazy guy. There's a lot of companies. He builds 100, 200 quick websites, just solopreneur, right?
Yeah.
And I think he makes good, and money is fine, but he's a good solopreneur, right? He
Okay.
made this photo AI. He has an interiorok.com, remoteok.com.
Okay.
He made this, and it's all simple code basis. It's just JavaScript and PHP.
Yeah.
Right? He's a solopreneur, works only out of his own, out of his laptop. It roams around the world, right? And makes things people want. Maybe he's probably done 100 and 4 of them, 5 of them stuck.
Yeah.
So you do that much, and the thing is, you are not done until people know that you have done something.
Yeah.
Right? Just pushing the code to GitHub and deploying it on EC2 is nobody still knows that nobody knows that you have done something until
Yeah.
you put in every social media that you are, right? You're telling everyone you meet in person, right? That hey bro, I've done this, right? And hopefully 1 or 2 people are interested in it, and then they come to you.
Yeah.
Until then, it's not done. So pushing to, maybe when you push to GitHub, you can add it in your resume and be happy about that. But I don't think I'll be happy with just, at least I did something. I think it's good, right? But you keep moving forward, right? First is
True.
just sitting and ideating, thinking, and the second is doing something, but being happy that you did something. Third is doing something people want, and fourth is getting feedback and just moving forward.
Yeah.
It's a it's incredibly difficult to get product market fit, right? And incredibly difficult to get product if you're just an idea. If you're just an idea man, right?
Yeah.
Ideas are time medicine. Anyone can have an idea, right? But unless you sit down and do it and push it and do something about it and write about it, it's not. So this is nice, really nice thing. Paul Graham says. Paul Graham is this famous, computer scientist. I think he's the founder of Via Web that sold to Yahoo long back in before .com.
Oh wow, okay.
Right, and he's the founder of Y Combinator, which is basically the birthplace of all startups.
Yeah.
Right? And he's written so many essays, right? And a lot of these essays are about startups. I mean, almost all of them, and they're really good. And one thing he says is, Y Combinator's tagline is very easy. Make something people want. It's so easy, right?
Yeah.
And the way he writes these things is, he says when you have an idea, unless you write it on paper, you don't have an idea.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you are able to write this is incredible. Take an idea, okay? Or take something that you think you have in life, right?
Yeah.
Some concept or something you made up, right? And try to write it. You know how many gaps there are. Unless you write it on paper, and I have a blog as well, right? I keep writing things there. It's incredibly difficult to get even 2-3 words out of something.
I completely agree. So I was doing this I'm still kind of in this ideation phase. I have a couple of ideas that I want to work on, and I was discussing this with a friend of mine. He was super excited about it. He was like, bro, I'm all down, let's do it. And then I gave this as a challenge because he also had a couple of ideas. I had 2 ideas. I was like, bro, let's do this. Let's write down our ideas in a doc.
Yeah.
All we are writing is, what is the market? What is the current problem? How are we solving this? Very simple, 3 paragraphs, that's it. I start writing. One of the ideas I relate to very much. So I wrote 2 pages on it, all good. Now, the second idea is something that I faced when I was trying to come up with, when I was looking for a solution. That point when I start writing it down, 3 sentences down the lane, I have no idea what is the problem that I'm solving, why am I solving this, and what is even the market. This is completely true. I can 100% agree to.
When someone writes someone like Paul Graham writes things that really connect with you, right? So that guy is just super smart. And I've tried to write things. You have an idea, it's just hanging in there. There are different threads in your brain.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is good. Oh yeah, that is good. Oh yeah, that is good. Until you write it, nothing is good.
Exactly.
When you write it, you know that you know nothing. You do all your basic research.
Yeah.
So I started this because having ideas is fine.
Yeah.
Unless you get down and push the first code, and unless you get down and push the first
get your
code,
hands dirty essentially.
Right? There is no, the world is not paying you for having ideas for sure, right?
Yeah.
You're not Steve Jobs, and he also was not just an idea man, obviously.
Yeah.
Right. He had so much to do. He did so much. Right. Unless you sit and do things, it's not gonna. And that is something I've learned in the last 1 year. That has been very big learning. I don't know how, but it's just that I know that having ideas. It's like there's this funny thing. Buying books and reading books are entirely different.
Yeah.
I have someone's hobby is buying books. That doesn't mean they read books. Buying books is a very cool hobby, but the same thing. Having ideas is fine.
Yeah.
Right? This works for anything, even if you're not into a startup arena or whatever, right? If you if you have some concept in life in general, right? If you think that you have been wronged in some way or anywhere, unless you write it down saying this is what it is, what is that, you're not connected with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. One thing that I wanted to ask you regarding this is, have you considered backtesting other strategies? Now I know in your newsletter you're showing the top 5 most bought insider trades or whatever, the stocks with most insider trades. Have you considered things like, hey, what if I look at it from this perspective? Now in this you're not considering how many people are involved.
Yeah.
The reason I'm saying this is, consider a company of ITC scale and compare that to a mid cap or a small cap company. If in a small cap company there are 10 CXOs who are trading, that is a higher indicator, although the amount is lesser than one big trade that happens in ITC. That can mean hundreds of things.
Yeah, this is very interesting. So I have so many variables there that I could play with, Right?
Yeah.
I have not done it. I should do it. So this is something I can really get started on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like I think last time we were talking about this historical idea where hey, when Zydus Wellness was bought so much, it went up this much, right?
Yeah.
And this thing really helps me because as a matter of fact, Zydus Wellness has come up in the screener twice, and both of them times it has shared the bed. It doesn't go up at all. It's at -1% or something, right? And it doesn't do anything. So this historical, and these are some things I have to do. And the problem is I do it alone, so it's all. And going back to the first point, unless I'm really interested in that at that time, I don't do it. It's just obviously it's not good, but that's why I think you need one more person to push you all the time.
Yeah.
And there's again one thing programs is always don't be a solo founder. Be something two people could do, right?
Interesting.
Complementary. One. So a funny way to find a co-founder would be take the grade profile. If you have a curvy thing like curvy graph like mine 9, 8, 9, 9, 7, 9, 7, right? Take some guy who has never gone below 8 so that he can be the operating officer. He can do all the shit. He can get down to doing anything, right? He can study the most boring subject. He can get in a good subject also. Right? And then both of you work together and it will work really well. This is something I told a friend of mine. I know that I said, out of nowhere, I don't know how it went there. We were just talking about normal things. And I said, maybe you should become CEO somehow, right? Because it seems like you can't do it.
Yeah.
So that is one thing. Unless I'm very interested. But it's a really good point. Let me go and try it out.
Yeah.
I have some subscribers. I have to do something for it.
Yeah. And I think there are a bunch of other strategies also that you and I mean, like we can discuss this offline. But I would be curious to know some other backtesting. I say this only because you can then in your newsletter give options to users saying, hey, you know what, there are 5 strategies that we believe in, and these are what the results for last X months look like for each of these 5 strategies. This is 20%, this is -10%, this is 60%, and a CAGR of 20%, 15%, 18%. And I think there are people, for them, that becomes more of an interactive workflow, right? Where, hey, okay, what are these 5 strategies? Do I mean, believe in one of these 5, maybe 2 of these 5, then should I look at this? So I think there is a factor of that. There is, I mean, on the contrary, there is also a factor of them getting even more confused.
Overwhelmed, right?
That is also possible.
There's one thing we could do, right? You let the user choose, hey, I am somewhat experienced, okay, so don't treat me like a kid, no kid gloves, right? Give me all the information, I'll do it. Or if you're not, but until now, I think all my subscribers are generally new people into the market, right? So that I think it's going to be like that, but I think I can do around with that. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think there are a lot of motivations, as in there are a lot of possibilities, and we just have to figure out and tackle it one by one. What I wanted to ask you is, you worked for a company in India for 2 years, and then you came here and you started working for the same company, but for over a year. With this, did you notice any differences in work style and work-life balances?
There is definitely a better work style in the US, right? In India, this is one more idea in India that people use work for 9 to 5 and that's it, and it's all fun after that. I can tell you that this country has the most hardworking people ever, right? You can say the work hours are bad in India, but the 10 hours there seems to be the same as 8 hours here or whatever it is here, right? I don't think there's a lot of I definitely like working. I mean, I think the work culture in the US is much better. Right? People take their well-deserved offs, and if they don't want off, they work on hard things. They want to solve their own things. Right? And it's just a place where you can work on anything. Right? If you want an easy, laid-back life, you can do that. Right? If you want a happy, you want a driven life, you can do that. But there's one caveat here that I want to say, anecdotal observation, but the Indians who move here in a good amount, right, en masse, how do I put it? So there is, I don't know, you get into a company and settle there, the needle doesn't move after that. The people seem to be happy with that. I'm not saying work 10 hours every day and do have fun or something, but just take a note that you are having a proper 9 to 5. A 9 to 5 life is not the norm for if you are a very ambitious person. That's all I'm saying. I'll tell you one thing, okay? End of every year, I write a letter to myself.
Wow.
Yeah, in 2021, I had 13 to 14 points to write about my life. Okay, big points.
Wow.
I did this. I started Vikhed, I started this, I started tweeting so much, I started writing blog posts.
Nice.
And I come to the US in 2022 and I have some 4 points total. I did this, I came to the US, this and this. I don't know, it's a problem of me, it's not someone else. But I think that kind of triggered me bad, and I thought, okay, at 25 I'm not going to settle, for sure. Okay, I want to settle at 25. That seems wicked. It's too early to settle, right? So I want to go back, hustle a bit more, and if I can come back, I'll come back.
Yeah.
Rather be free in India than tied up in the US. That's all I'm saying, right?
I don't think what is happening to you is. I mean, I think the US factor there is much lesser than the visa factor that is involved.
Yeah.
Because you are associated with a company.
Yeah.
And the visa that you're currently on is only with that company, and they are not able to sponsor you to get H1B or green card directly.
But I think if you ask me, what would you do if everything was going the way you wanted to go?
Would you still go back to India? Yeah, that was my question. So imagine you had green card here.
Yeah.
Would you still go back to India?
I think so. The ultimate idea is to start a company.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go to a place where it is possible, right? And I think India offers some good problems there. And I think I'm still searching it out. How are you going to start a company? Okay, is it going to be bootstrapped or going to be VC funded? How is it? Is it going to eat the world, or is it just something small that you want to work? I mean, small meaning just for a niche market or a smaller market, right? I think maybe this change going to India back might trigger, I don't know, starting might hasten the process, right? I want to go and really do something, right? And there is nothing here that's stopping me, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Except that you have to save the company. You can't keep the company, right? It's the visa. In India, I can take a break of maybe 2-3 months and see how. Just see, and then if you're not, you just go back to some workforce, right?
Of course.
That's, I think, I can't still put it's like 2-3
factors playing
factors together, right? And if you see my blog posts, I think it paints a story about this only. Last year, I wrote an article about something called Nietzsche's Last Man. Friedrich Nietzsche was a German philosopher.
Okay.
German, I think, yeah. He talks about, he has written this thing called Thus Spoke Zarathustra. Okay, it is Zarathustra is basically Zoroaster. Okay, it's a fictional story. He writes about how Zoroaster came and talked to us. And Zoroaster talks about 2 kinds of men. The Ubermen, the Ubermensch, that's what it's I don't know the exact German word, but the other kind of person is the last man.
Okay.
Right? The big man, the last man, you could say it like that. And he talks a lot about last man, and it's pretty stinging if you read it. It basically attacks all of us in some sense. Okay?
Interesting. Okay.
And I don't know how I got into that also, but I was very interested in it. I wrote a blog about it, about what Nietzsche says about last man. Right? Last man is very risk averse. Right? Last man doesn't do anything. He doesn't get too happy, doesn't get too sad.
Yeah.
Okay. Because too much happiness is work, too much sadness is work. Right? Yeah. The last man is thin or fit because it's too difficult to. I mean, it's a risk averse. He's thin by not eating or eating well, and not by gymming and doing things.
Yeah.
This is you can read the blog post. SUDHAR.xyz. The list of blog posts. And then Nietzsche's Last Man, I wrote it and I pushed it and shared the link. 3 different people called me. 2 people whom I have not talked in a long time. They called me up and said, "Hey bro, did you write this about me?" Okay, I obviously didn't write, but this is very interesting, man. This is crazy.
So people relate to it.
Yeah, really, right? And that was the first thing. And the second thing was, it was a fictional story I wrote called game nights, potlucks, and parties. Right? I think that's something that people can go check out. I'm not going to say what it is. Right? But it's kind of a fictional story about maybe we can do something about that's all. Right? But that is the mental process, and that kind of goes in at whether this company was there in the picture or not. The idea was that the basic idea was that why was I doing more in India than in the US? Is it because of low base? There's a low base. You know what a low base is?
No.
When you start from 0 to 10, it's a good increase, right? But 10 to 15 is not. It does feel like is it a low base problem? Is it a high base? Because I've done so much in India and I can't continue from there, right? I don't know. But one more thing is, I'll tell you one funny thing, okay? There's a legendary VC called Bill Gurley from Silicon Valley. Okay. He is from Benchmark Capital. Okay. And he's a legendary VC. He invested in Uber and everything very early. I think he's a billionaire also. And he's moved recently to Austin. Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
He's from Texas. He's from Texas UT Austin McComb School of Business. Right?
Okay.
Graduated out of there, and he came back to Austin. He's moved back from California to Austin now. And Emily Chan from I think CNBC asked him, "Do you think Austin is going to be the next startup capital or whatever?" Right? And he says this is the reason Austin should not, or California will stay. He says that Austin is too fun. People get distracted. Okay. And we can't talk about that. I don't know how fun Austin is, but the thing is, it applies to all of us. If you're a new guy to the US, right? There's just too many distracting things. Everything is new for you. Right? You have 50 states and you have all this. New York is a crazy place, right? Which I think it's cool, but again, it's all for me only. I'm not generalizing these ideas to anyone. Okay? It's everyone has their own ideas, right? Not everyone. No one is right. No one is natural. And this is not like being nice disclaimer. I'm anything but nice in these things, right? It's just the truth. Okay. So for me, I think that was also one reason. It seems like doing too much but I have tried to do things, right? I have been before the whole I'm moving. The funny thing is I'm moving to India tomorrow. I'm leaving tomorrow.
Exactly.
Right? And we're recording it right now. So the last 2-3 weeks I've been packing, but before that I was trying to push things, reading, and things were going well. So maybe I'll go back and continue that.
Nice.
Right?
Awesome.
Yeah,
bro. One more thing I wanted to ask you was, you were working as a software engineer. Now you said you are an associate director. Now you're managing people under you. You're managing the same software engineer that you were 3-4 years ago. How does that feel? And give me like 2 things that you like about managing and 2 things that you don't.
2 things to like about managing is it's like having 10 hands, right? When you have 5 people under you. Right? You have 5 projects working, you can put each one of them in and sync with them and get the work done. Obviously, you get a lot more work done than you would do it alone. Right? And the second thing is, talking to smart people is very rare thing. Right? And if smart people are legally required to talk to you because of the contract. I have some really smart people under, right?
Awesome.
All of them work really hard. Right? So, and when they have that way, it's nice to talk to them about. It's nice to talk
ideas.
To people, and young people really, when people come out of college, I mean, we are also young.
Okay?
We are really young, okay? But when they come out of college, they are more.
Of course.
Nice. It's nice to get them to do things, right? Those are 2 things I really like. The 2 things I don't like are. Sometimes it's difficult to get all the context out of my brain, right? I'd rather do it myself. That's one thing. Second thing is, you can't slack off your manager at all. Slacking off, 5 people are slacking off because. So, I mean, it's not like a nice thing today, but still, you can't the taking break is a bit difficult because it affects the whole team, right? And middle manager, I would describe something as a middle manager hell. Okay, when you are not a big manager, right? Not an executive person or whatever, you're not a new guy. Okay? You don't have the naive optimism of the new guy, and you don't have the power of the and the new guy has naively optimistic, and he's telling you that, hey, you can do this, you can do that, and the big guy is saying you can't do anything, do anything, right? You get pushed from both sides. A lot of people get stuck in the middle manager hell, right? And that's That's very depressing. Middleman is very depressing. You either have the power to say no to top, or you kind of be just a staff engineer, or just be a leaf node in the whole system.
Yeah, I agree. I know we are short on time. You're leaving in some time.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you one last question. Yeah. This is something that we ask everyone who has been in this podcast.
Yeah.
So far, 3 people.
But you're doing something, right?
Yeah. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
What is a postcard message that you'd write a younger version of yourself?
I would write to the younger self, do what you're doing. Just
nice.
Do what you're doing. I don't want to... The funny thing is, I know people who look at some really smart and say, oh my god, I can't get anywhere. Or you look at how can't reach anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Some places I don't want to be, okay? And rich is always going to happen somehow, right?
Yeah.
Just by investing you get rich, right? And I don't really think I would have said, do more math or do more physics. I feel like I'm in a pretty good position mentally, right? And mentally, physically, and just in a mindset thing, right? All I can say is just don't be a cynic, and just be more open or more
accepting.
Just be more naively confident also sometimes.
Yeah.
Naive confidence really works. I would say that a good amount of US GDP is just based on confidence of the US people, right? I don't think there's anything real. There's just you just have to subtract the 20% confidence premium.
Yeah.
And we don't have that. You should see this when you go to Silicon Valley, right? They want to rule the world.
Yeah.
You don't wake up every day thinking you want to rule the world at all.
Yeah.
There's no way you're thinking that.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying when you think it happens.
Yeah.
But is there any
kind of
simulation of is there any simulation of yours that wakes up? I know send rockets to the space.
Yeah.
Why do you not think about that at all? I mean, that's a very. I think I would say that dream bigger.
You're killing it. Let's go. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for doing this podcast with us.
This is probably the most interesting thing I've done before leaving the country for good, for going back.
And I mean,
most interesting.
That too, you have just packed all.
And
you're literally leaving in
This
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks
you
for listening, guys.
Thank you.